Welcome to the Explainer. You know, in the data world, there's this term you're probably hearing everywhere right now, data observability. But what does it really mean? And why is it suddenly so important for pretty much any company that relies on data? Well, let's dive in and figure that out.
Come on, you've been there, right? You're staring at a critical report. Maybe it's the quarterly revenue dashboard, and you just get that sinking feeling in your stomach. Something just looks a little off. You're not sure you can actually trust the numbers you're seeing. And that exact moment of doubt, that's right at the heart of what we're talking about today.
See, this isn't just a glitchy dashboard. It's a period where your data is incomplete or inaccurate or just plain wrong. We call it data downtime. And honestly, it's happening more and more. Because the modern data stack, with all these incredible tools like Snowflake, dbt, and Fivetran, it's created so much power, but also a ton of complexity, and you guessed it, a lot of blind spots.
And this all leads to what a lot of people are calling the data trust crisis. The real problem is that the old ways we used to keep an eye on our data systems, they are just fundamentally broken in this new, complex world.
So here is the absolute key takeaway. Your traditional monitoring tools, they'll tell you if a data pipeline job finished. You get that beautiful green checkmark, success. But they have absolutely no idea if the data that job produced is any good. The job could run perfectly, but still load a revenue column that's completely full of null values, and your old tools, they wouldn't even blink.
So because of this huge, fundamental failure, there's a massive shift in thinking happening right now, a move away from simple monitoring and toward this idea of observability. Let's really break down what that difference is.
This frames it perfectly. Monitoring is all about the machinery, the process. It's asking, are the lights on? Is the CPU okay? But observability, that goes so much deeper. It's about the final product, the data itself. It's asking the questions that actually matter, like, are these numbers right? Are they on time? And can I confidently use them to make a business decision?
Here's another really powerful way to think about it. Monitoring is for the problems you already expect. You write a rule, hey, alert me if this job takes more than an hour. That's a known unknown. Observability is totally different. It gives you the tools to investigate the weird, complex problems you could never have predicted, the unknown unknowns.
And this quote just nails the entire mindset shift. We have to stop thinking of ourselves as just pipeline builders. We have to start thinking like we're product managers for the data. The pipeline? That's just the factory. The data itself is the product our customers, our business users, actually consume. And its quality is the only thing that matters.
Okay, so how do we actually do this observability thing? Well, it's not magic. It's built on a framework of 5 key pillars. You can think of these as the vital signs for your data's health.
Let's quickly walk through them. First up, you've got freshness, which is basically asking, is my data up to date? Then there's volume. Is the amount of data what I expect? Schema is a huge one. It watches for any unexpected changes to the structure of your data. Distribution looks at the actual values in your data to spot anything that seems weird statistically. And finally, lineage, which gives you a complete map of how your data flows from the source all the way to the end user.
All right, so let's make this real. We're going to zoom in on 2 of the most critical pillars to see how this works in practice. Lineage, which is all about mapping your data, and the automatic measurement that spots bad data.
Data lineage is the absolute foundation. You have to think of it like the nervous system that connects every single part of your data platform. Without it, when something breaks, you're basically flying blind, just digging through endless lines of code and query logs, trying to figure out what went wrong.
At best, without good lineage, you might get a graph that looks something like this, a giant tangled hairball that just shows you hundreds of tables are connected. It basically screams, hey, there's a problem somewhere in this giant mess, which, isn't helpful at all. It's just noise.
But this is the game changer. With true column-level lineage, you can click on that one bad number in your dashboard and trace its entire journey backward, field by field, all the way to the exact source column where the problem started. It just cuts right through that hairball and gives you a clean, clear path straight to the root cause.
Okay, so lineage is amazing for finding the source of a problem once you know it exists. But how do you detect that problem in the first place, ideally before your users do? Well, this is where automated measurement comes in.
Just look at this chart. A simple, static rule, like alert me if row counts drop below 500K, would be firing alerts all the time on weekends, or it would miss a real issue on a weekday. But modern observability tools use machine learning. They actually learn your data's normal rhythm, its weekly seasonality. So when Wednesday's volume suddenly drops to 200K, a number that might be perfectly fine for a Saturday, the system knows that's a serious anomaly for a weekday and sends you a smart, immediate alert.
Now, detecting problems fast is great, but you know what's even better? Preventing them from ever happening in the first place. This is where data teams are taking a page straight from the software engineering playbook and focusing on building reliable data products from day one.
And this all starts by defining your promises using 3 key ideas. First, the SLI, or Service Level Indicator. That's just the metric you're measuring, like data freshness. Next is the SLO, the Service Level Objective. That's your internal goal for that metric. And finally, you have the SLA, the Service Level Agreement. That's the formal promise you actually make to your business users based on your goal.
The real mechanism for enforcing these promises is something called a data contract. The best way to think of it is like an API, but for your data. It's a formal, machine-readable agreement between the team that produces the data and the team that consumes it, and it defines everything: the structure, the quality rules, all of it.
And here is the truly magic part. These contracts are checked automatically as part of the development process. So if an engineer tries to push a code change that would break the contract, like maybe they try to drop a column that a downstream team depends on, the deployment is automatically blocked. The error is caught before it can ever break anything in production.
So when you put all of these pieces together, it brings us to the ultimate takeaway from this whole shift. The future of data engineering is all about being proactive, not reactive.
By embracing observability, data teams can finally get out of that endless, soul-crushing cycle of reactive firefighting. Instead of waiting for that angry Slack message about a broken dashboard, they can move to a proactive practice of reliability engineering, building trust and stability into their data systems from the very beginning.
In the end, this is what it's all about. The goal of the modern data stack can't just be about moving massive amounts of data at incredible speeds. It has to be about delivering data that the business can verifiably and consistently trust.
So I'll leave you with a question to think about for your own work. Are your teams just watching the green lights on your pipelines? Or are they truly observing the data itself? Are they just monitoring? Or are they actually building the foundation of trust that every single data-driven organization desperately needs?